so faded and nobody seemed to care. In the garden of my heart, I looked and found you there. Rainy weather rolls, everybody knows that I love you.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Sorry for the short delay. Welcome to the inaugural York Fringe Festival, presented by YRK Creative. How many of you have been to a Fringe Festival already? A show this festival, not in general. Okay, so we've got some new people. Good. We are incredibly excited that the Fringe is finally here. My name's Mike, as this very large name tag says. I am one of the Fringe board members. We want to thank our performers, our artists, and our volunteers for making this festival happen. We also couldn't have done it without the many people who support the mission of making the live arts accessible in the city of York. We'd like to thank this year's sponsors, YRK Creative, Gladfelder Insurance Group, the Powder Mill Foundation, York Traditions Bank, and the Cultural Alliance of York County Impact Awards. You are in for a very awesome show tonight. I had the privilege of seeing it on Thursday. And if you take a look in your program, you'll see the rest of the schedule for the festival, the other shows tonight and the shows tomorrow. I'm really excited. We have our second improv showcase tonight after this show at Rockfish, just next door. Tomorrow there's a show called Abraxas, which is like magic for grown-ups, at Parliament. We also have a story slam at Paco's Tacos at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, and your ticket includes brunch. Tonight's show is told in 4 scenes. There will be 2 10-minute intermissions, one following scene 1 and one following scene 3, and drinks are available at the bar. And Two Tonys wanted me to let everybody know we have some special cocktails just for tonight. One is called the Ruby Slippers, and that is in honor of the anniversary of Wizard of Oz that came out today. So that is gin, Campari, and Grapefruit. That's $9. And we have a rum punch that they're calling the Flower Pistol in honor of this show. Last but not least, please turn your phone to silent, and we ask that you refrain from taking any flash photography during the show. Please note there will be some fake guns used during this production, and the cast will be using this aisle to the side, so please keep that open for them. Other than that, thanks for joining us for the York Fringe Festival, and enjoy the show.
I don't think they're even awake yet.
That's what I told you, miss. The boat got in so late last night. And then, heavens, all the stuff she wanted put away before she went to bed.
Well, let them sleep. Well, well, Berta, you've got yourself a new mistress. Lord knows it was hard enough for me to let you go.
It was hard for me too, miss. All those happy years with you and Miss Rena.
Well, we all must take what comes. That's all there is to it. George just couldn't live without you, you know. It's as simple as that.
Yes, but I can't stop thinking about Miss Rena, lying there completely helpless. And that new girl looking after her, she won't know how to take proper care of an invalid. I know she won't.
I'll teach her, and of course I'll do most of it myself, so don't you worry about my poor sister.
Yes, But, miss, there's something else, too. I'm very much afraid that I won't please the young mistress.
In the beginning, there might be a thing or two.
Oh, she seems very particular.
Naturally, General Gabler's daughter. What a life she had while the general was still alive.
I certainly never dreamed she and young Mr. Tesman would make a go of it.
Neither did I. And from now on, you must not call him Mr. Tesman. You must call him Dr. Tesman.
Yes, she did say something about that last night, right away, as soon as they were inside the door. Is it true then, miss?
Yes, they gave him his doctor's degree, abroad on the trip and all.
Well, he's so clever, he could be anything he wanted. But I never thought he'd turn his hand to curing people.
Oh, no. He's not that kind of doctor. And, well, I'm not supposed to say anything, but pretty soon, you might have to call him something even grander than doctor.
Heavens, what could that be?
Wouldn't you like to know? Oh, if only his father could see what his son has become. But Berta, why have you taken the covers off of the furniture?
Oh, she asked me to, miss. Doesn't like covers on the chairs, she said.
Do they intend to make this their living room then?
Seemed like it. Mrs. Tesman did all the talking. Dr. Tesman didn't say anything about it.
Good morning, George.
Aunt Julie, dearest Aunt Julie, you came all this way and so early in the morning.
Well, I just had to make sure everything was all right.
Oh, did you make it home all right last night after meeting us?
Yes, thank you. Judge Brack was kind enough to see me home.
Oh, we were very sorry that we couldn't give you a ride with us, but you saw all those boxes that Hedda had.
Quite a collection, really.
Should I go and see if there's anything I could help Mrs. Tesman with?
No, she said she would ring if she needed anything.
Very well, then.
Oh, you could take this.
I'll put it in the attic.
Oh, Berta. But come, let me take your hat off.
Thank you. This is just like the old days when you were at home with us.
Oh, you know, that suitcase was stuffed full of my old papers and documents, things I found in those libraries that no one knew anything about.
So you didn't waste any time on your honeymoon.
No, I didn't, but this is an elegant hat you've got here.
Thank you. I bought it to please Hedda.
Please, Hedda, why?
So she wouldn't be ashamed to be seen going out with me.
Oh, Aunt Julie, you think of everything. But come, let's sit here and we'll chat a little while as we wait for Hedda to get up.
Oh, it is so good to have you back again, George.
Oh, and for me too. Tell me, how is Aunt Rena? Any better?
Oh, no. We can never expect her to get any better, poor dear. She just lies there day after day, month after month. But if anything were to happen to her, well, I just don't know what I would do with myself. Especially now that I don't have you to look after.
Oh, there. Come now, Aunt Julie.
But you're a married man now, George. To think that it was you who walked off with Hedda Gabler, the beautiful Hedda Gabler. And when she had all those young men infatuated with her.
I think I have a number of friends who'd like to change places with me right now.
And that honeymoon, was it 5? No, nearly 6 months.
Well, yes, of course, I had all my research to do, all of those libraries to visit, and all of those books to read.
Yes. But, George, don't you have anything special to tell me?
About our trip?
Yes?
No, I don't think so. Well, I received a doctor's degree, but of course, I told you that when I saw you last night.
Yes, but don't you have any expectations?
Expectations?
Come now, George, this is your aunt you're speaking to.
Well, naturally I have expectations.
Yes?
Well, I expect with some degree of confidence to be made a professor someday very soon.
A professor, yes.
Yes, but you knew that already, Aunt Julie.
Well, we were talking about the trip.
Hmm.
It must have cost a fortune traveling with a lady. That makes it much more expensive, doesn't it?
Well, a little bit more, but Aunt Julie, Hedda simply had to have this trip. She just had to have it. There was no saying no.
Yes, I expect so.
Mhm.
And what do you think of the house? Have you had a good chance to look around?
Oh, yes, I have been up since the dawn.
And what do you think?
Oh, I love it. It's quite wonderful. Only, I'm not sure what to do with the two empty rooms between the back parlor and Hedda's bedroom.
Oh, George, you'll know what to do with them when the time comes.
Oh, yes, you mean as my library grows.
Yes, it was your library I was thinking of.
You know, I'm really most happy for Hedda. For her, most of all. She used to say that this house was the only one that would do. Secretary Falk's townhouse was the only one for her.
Very lucky that it became available for sale just as soon as you'd left on your trip.
Yes, very, very lucky.
But George, don't you think it'll be expensive? It's so big.
Yes, I do suppose. Roughly how expensive do you think?
Well, you won't know precisely until all of the bills come in.
Well, I understand that Judge Brack was able to achieve very reasonable terms for us. At least that is what he wrote to Hedda.
And I've put down a little deposit to cover the new carpets and furniture.
What? How could you do that?
Well, I took a mortgage on my pension.
But that's yours. That's yours and Aunt Rena's.
Well, I couldn't think of what else to
But
do.
that was so foolish of you. That's all the two of you have to live upon.
Now, calm down. It's just a formality. At least that's what Judge Brack said. He was kind enough to arrange the whole thing.
I suppose so, but I don't want to see.
You'll have your own salary. And if we have to put down a little in the beginning, well, it's a pleasure to help out.
Oh, Aunt Julie, when will you stop making sacrifices for me?
What else do I have, George? You're my only joy. And I know it's been hard at times, but we're almost there. We've reached the end.
Yes. When I think of how far we've come, it's really unbelievable.
And all those who stood against you, all those who were in your way, where have they gone? They've lost. They've lost, George. And the one who was the greatest threat to you, where is he? He's made his bed and he must lie in it, fool that he is.
Has there been any news about him since we've been away? About Eilert?
Only that he's supposed to have published a new book.
Eilert Lovborg has published a new book?
Yes, but there can't be much to it. Not like your book when it comes out. What are you writing about?
Oh, the Middle Ages and the cottage industries of the Brabant in that period.
To be able to write about such things, I don't know how you do it.
Yes, well, of course, I might not be ready to publish for a little while yet. I have all of my notes to put in order.
Yes, you collect and you organize. You are my brother's son.
Yes, I guess so. But you know, I'm excited really to get started now, especially here in the quiet and comfort of my own home.
Yes, and best of all, George, you have your Hedda, the
Yes.
wife of your dreams.
Yes, Hedda. My Hedda. Really, that's the best part of all. Ah, here she is.
Good morning, Hedda dear.
Oh, good morning, dear Miss Tesman. Well, you are here early. It's so kind of you to come.
Yes, thank you. Did the bride have a good night's sleep in her new home?
I slept quite adequately, thank you.
Adequately. Do you hear that? You were sleeping like a log when I got up, Hedda.
Fortunately. But of course it does take time, Miss Tesman, to get used to new surroundings. Won't you sit down?
Oh, no, thank you. I would like to, but I must be getting home to my poor sister.
Oh, yes. Do tell Aunt Rena that I will come see her later on this afternoon.
Yes, of course. And, George, I almost forgot. I have something for you.
What is it?
Take a look.
Oh my goodness, what could it be? Oh, Aunt Julie, I just want to open such a thing. It's just, oh my, it's very complicated. Oh, you kept them for me. Oh, Aunt Julie. Mwah. Oh, look, Hedda, look. Isn't that sweet?
Yes, what is it?
Oh, my slippers. My old slippers, here they are. Look,
Yes.
look. Yes.
They were a frequent conversation piece during our trip.
Well, I missed them, and here they are, the famous slippers. Oh, go ahead, have a look.
No, I don't care to, thank you.
Aunt Rena embroidered these for me, ill as she was. Oh, they have a lot of fond memories.
But not for me.
Yes, George, not for Hedda.
No, I just thought, now that she's a part of the family.
We are not going to get on with that new maid, Tesman.
Berta, but why?
Whatever do you mean?
Well, look here. She's left her old hat lying here on the chair.
But Hedda.
What if someone were to come in and see it?
But that's not Bertha's hat. That's Aunt Julie's hat.
Really?
Yes, and for another thing, it's not old.
Well, I hadn't really looked at it very closely, Miss Tesman.
In fact, this is the first time I've worn it. The first.
Oh, and it is a very attractive hat.
Oh, it's not so special, George. And my parasol, that's mine too, not Berta's.
New hat, new parasol. What do you think of that, Hedda?
Very nice.
But Aunt Julie, before you go, have a look at my Hedda. Isn't she beautiful?
Yes, George, Hedda has always been beautiful.
Oh yes, but now there's a certain aura, a kind of glow. She's filled out on our honeymoon together.
Stop it!
Filled out?
Yes, well, it's hard for you to see with the dressing gown, but I, who have the opportunity to...
You have no opportunity for anything.
It must be the mountain air down in the Tyrol.
I'm just as I was when I left.
Yes, that's what you say, but I don't think you're right. Tell me, Aunt Julie, what do you think?
She is lovely. Lovely. God bless you and keep you, Hedda Tesman, for George's sake.
There, please.
I won't let a day go by without looking in on the two of you.
Oh, yes, please do, Aunt Julie, please do.
Goodbye.
Thank you so much for coming. It's great to see you.
Goodbye, George.
Another in my life. What are you looking at there, Hedda?
The leaves. They've already turned yellow and withered.
Well, of course, we are in September already.
Yes, to think we're already in September.
Tell me, Hedda, did Aunt Julie seem a little strange this morning? A little, maybe cold, perhaps? I don't know.
Well, I hardly know her. Was she upset about the hat, do you think?
No, I don't think so. Maybe just a little at first.
Oh, but it wasn't very polite, was it, to just leave her hat lying around in our living room? One doesn't do that.
Well, I can assure you she won't do it again.
I shall try to make it up to her somehow.
Yes, that would be a very good idea, Hedda.
When you go to see them, why don't you ask her to come back this evening?
Oh, I will, yes. And there's one other thing you could do.
Yes.
Well, I think it would mean a lot to her.
What is it?
Well, you could stop calling her Miss Tesman. Call her Aunt Julie for my sake, Hedda, please.
No, that I just can't do. I told you that once before. I will try to call her aunt. That will have to do.
Well, yes, I suppose so. It's just that now that you're a part of the family...
I don't know about that.
Oh. Is something the matter, Hedda?
These flowers weren't here last night.
Well, I suspect Aunt Julie brought them for you.
There is a card. We'll be back later today. Can you guess who it's from?
No, who could it be?
Mrs. Taya Elvsted.
Oh, the sheriff's wife, formerly Miss Rising.
Yes, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she was always showing off her hair. An annoying habit, I remember. She was an old flame of yours, wasn't she?
Oh, that was a long time ago, and long before I met you, Hedda. Yes, but I wonder why she should be calling on us now.
It is strange that she should call on us. I haven't seen her since we were at school together.
Oh, and I haven't seen her in God knows how long. I wonder how she can stand living out there, out in the backwoods, eh?
Oh, wait a minute. Isn't it somewhere near there that Eilert Lovborg lives?
Oh, yes, I suppose so.
Excuse me, ma'am. The lady who brought the flowers this morning is back again.
Oh, is she? Well, show her in. Good morning, dear Mrs. Elvsted. How lovely to see you again.
Yes, it's been a while since we've met.
Oh, and it's been a long time for me to...
Thank you for the lovely flowers.
Oh, don't mention it. I was going to come by yesterday afternoon, but I heard you were still on your way home.
You've, just arrived in town?
Yes, yesterday afternoon, and I was about in despair when I found out that you weren't at home.
In despair? Why?
My dear Miss Rice, Miss Elvsted.
There's nothing wrong, I hope.
Oh, yes, and I couldn't think of anyone else to turn to.
Well, come on, sit down.
Oh, no, I couldn't. I'm really too...
Oh, of course you can. Sit down.
So, what is it, Mrs. Elvsted?
Has something happened? Something at home?
Well, yes. And no, it's very difficult. I don't want you to misunderstand.
Well, simply say what's on your mind, Mrs. Elvsted.
Well, the thing is, perhaps you already know that Eilert Lovborg has come back.
Lovborg.
Eilert Lovborg has returned to town. Do you hear that, Hedda?
I can hear perfectly well, thank you.
He's been here a week already, in the city. It's not a safe place for him. There are people who would just use him if given the chance.
But my dear Mrs. Elvsted, why is he a concern of yours?
Why, he's the children's tutor.
Your children?
No, I have none. My husband's.
Your stepchildren?
Yes.
Well, I don't quite know how to ask this, but is he really responsible enough to be teaching children?
Oh, yes. His behavior the past 2 years has been beyond reproach, I can assure you. But now, knowing that he's in the city, and with so much money in his pockets, why, I'm frightened to death for him.
Well, why didn't he simply stay with you and your husband?
Well, after his book came out, he just couldn't stay with us any longer. He was always on edge.
Aunt Julie mentioned that he had published a new book.
A very big new book, a cultural history, I believe, with the analysis of the progress of civilization. It's been out 2 weeks already, and it's such a huge success. The sales are very good, and the response is very favorable.
Well, must be something he had lying around from a few years ago in better days.
No, it was written this past year when he was staying with us.
Oh, do you hear that, Hedda? Isn't that nice?
Have you seen him since you came to town?
No, it was difficult to find his address, but just this morning I found where he's been living.
It's strange, isn't it, that your husband,
My husband, what do you mean?
well, that your husband would send you all the way into town to look after him, not to come back for his friend himself.
Oh, no. My husband's far too busy for things like that, and besides, I had shopping to do anyway.
Of course.
Mr. Tesman, I must beg of you, please, be kind to Eilert Lovborg when he comes to visit you, and